Major world events right now are North Korea in focus. They don't typically host many high-level diplomatic delegations. But this week, after years of pandemic and international sanctions isolation, North Korea invited its friends back, hosting senior Chinese and Russian delegations for the 70th anniversary commemorations of the Korean War against the United States and its allies. The visiting dignitaries are expected to be dazzled with one of North Korea's signature events, a massive military parade showcasing its latest weaponry. We know there's a lot of it. We're joined now by Tal Reshef, Israel Asia business specialist, joining us here, and appreciate your time on the show. Look, how big a deal is it for the Hermit Kingdom as it's known, Pyongyang, looking to deepen ties with Beijing and Moscow right now, finding common ground with their rivalries in Washington and the West? Is this sort of a big moment for these three to come together?
Well, I think this is a bit of far-fetched, the way that it is being described, because the fact is that the high-rank officials from China and Russia have to meet in order to deal with things that they have to elaborate. They cannot do it in Russia because of the international sanctions. China cannot invite Russian delegates freely to China due to the same reason. And North Korea is a very safe cafe to sit down, to have a cappuccino, and to discuss everything out of the reach of the international sanctions on Russia.
A unique description of North Korea, the safe cafe for these, but you're right. I mean, these are unique friends of the country there. Look, given the legacy of the war, the Korean War from 1950 to 53, Russia and Chinese forces, are economically directly helped, the entity in North Korea survive as a political reality. Is there a special place in North Korea's sort of state history for these two countries?
Well, of course, yes. During the time of the beginning of the 50s, the time of the Korea War between the DPRK, which means North Korea, against South Korea, the South was defended and supported by the West, mainly by the United States. And a big part of the war was fought by American soldiers at that time, while the North, the DPRK, was supported by China, by Russia, and China was the main participant, sending tens of thousands of soldiers that in fact determined the end of the war and the drawing of the line between the two countries. So North Korea owes a lot to those two countries that continues to support it and send finance and ammunition and training and armament during the dozens of years that passed since then.
Look, on China, a bit of an odd moment with the disappearance of their ousting of their foreign minister. What do we know about that, or what role that plays in foreign policy for China right now?
Well, this is a kind of a sensitive and I might say even an embarrassing point for China. But I'm not sure that it carries a lot of meaning, a part of that for China itself. Look, what we have here is a very high-rank official, one of the closest to the President Xi Jinping, with a lot of power, heading the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and having a lot of influence on the way that China is taking, that disappeared some weeks ago, stopped appearing, and then it was published that he's no longer holding that position that he held, with no explanations. On a given moment when he had to hold a meeting in Indonesia, it was told that he will not reach it because of health issues. Later, it was found out that there was no health issue. Rumors, not official data, but rumors say that he had a romantic affair with a worker in his ministry, and he had to leave his post. This is something which is very sensitive in China. First of all, the romantic and sexual conduct in China is something that the regime is putting a lot of attention on it because of the appearance of a purity of conduct, and because of the fear that people that are involved in such cases will be open to pressures and blackmails from people who know about it. Anyhow, if it's true, if those rumors are true, apparently Xi Jinping, the president, heard about it. He sacked the Minister of Foreign Affairs. For the moment, there's somebody who replaces him, and everybody expects it to be temporarily and to have somebody more permanent in the next weeks.
Okay, in the short time left on this, about a minute, look, for Russia, it appears to be an important display amidst their isolation here, but what is the meaning of this trifecta? You know, where does it lead the concerns of the United States, for example?
The concern of the United States regarding the sacking of the Minister of Foreign Affairs?
These three countries getting together in North Korea right now.
I'm not sure that there is a very big meaning. Look, China and Russia are in a permanent connection all the time. They are coordinating their steps. Russia expects China to give it full support for the war in on Ukraine, and China refrains from it for the moment. It stands aside, maintaining good relations with Russia, buying a lot of Russian oil, using the low prices of this Russian oil due to the sanctions.
So more business as usual, essentially, between these countries at this point.
It's the prices of the Russian oil are going down naturally. China needs a lot of oil, and they take advantage of the situation in order to purchase big amounts of oil in very low prices.
A lot of major geopolitical moving pieces in this story. Tal Reshef, thanks for being with us on it.
Thank you for having me.